A few weeks ago, I tried out an AI image recognition software to generate alt text descriptions. Today, I'm looking at Google Bard. And so on the screen with me, I've uploaded several images, and we're going to go ahead and go through these images and just see how well Google Bard fared. First, we have an image of a pit bull with red lipstick kisses on its face. And Google Bard does a good job. It says the image shows a white dog with red lipstick kisses on its face. But then it adds text that isn't even applicable. It says the dog is sitting on a white rug and looking at the camera. It has a short snout and a broad head. Its ears are pointed and its tail is wagging. And you can't see any of that in the image. It's only the very top of the dog. So from the dog's shoulders up. So it's interesting that they added that. Maybe they recognize the image because it is a stock photo image. So maybe there are uncropped versions of this image. But still, it has all of the essentials. And then it even lists a few places that it can be found. So next, I uploaded the cover for my book. And I asked specifically for an alt text description of the book. And it said it would be the ADA book, ADA compliance for websites, apps, and other digital assets. So it just it really repeated back the text that was on the image. And then it also says the book cover also features the author's name, my name. And then so it has all of the essentials here. So we wouldn't, it's not necessarily something where we would copy and paste, but we can look through the alt text that is being generated or the descriptions that are being generated and easily come up with our own alt text or a combination thereof. The next image is of a scenic mountain view with there's a lake and there's a house on the lake. And so Google Bard comes up with an image of a cabin on stilts in the middle of a lake surrounded by mountains, which is accurate. The cabin is surrounded by mountains and trees. The lake is a clear blue color and the sky is bright blue. The image is relevant to topics of nature, travel, and tourism. So Google Bard is adding a few additional details here that might be relevant, but really, as I said previously, it's to the point where you can select what descriptions you want to use, and Google Bard has everything covered. So moving on to the next image. The next image I have included a cropped out person, but it wasn't, you could not see the person's face. And I asked what would an alt text description for this image be? And it said, this image has been removed. Sorry, I can't help with images of people yet. And then I said, why not? And then they needed more information. And I said, why can't you provide a description of the person? And there are a few reasons why I can't provide. I don't have enough information. I'm not trained to do that. It's not my purpose. So this was very interesting. So if you have an image with a person, it's likely that you will not be able to get an alt text description of that person. Maybe later, but not right now. So next I uploaded an more abstract, arbitrary image because it would be somewhat difficult to describe. It's really a bunch of water droplets on some type of surface with multiple colors ranging from intense orange to really relaxing blue. And it says, sure, here are some alt text descriptions for the image you sent. Close-up of oil drops on a rainbow background, abstract image of colorful oil drops, textured background with rainbow colored oil drops, colorful droplets on a glass surface. So it's giving you options for different potential descriptions, which I think is helpful. And you can choose a combination of what they've listed. And then the next image I uploaded was a very difficult one. And so it's this infographic, and it's really like a circular infographic with different words and different words, and the words have different colors behind them, and it all leads into a center point. But it's difficult to read because the words get smaller, the text gets smaller as you get towards this vortex on this infographic. So originally, it says the image shows a circular diagram with different stages of a brand story. The stages are labeled as follows: paid, earned, owned. And then, so that got that described it lightly. But then I asked, can you fully describe and detail the information in the infographic? And then it does. It says the infographic is about different stages of a brand story. It shows how a brand can use paid, earned, and owned media to create a story. And then it goes on to describe all of the all of the text that is relayed, all of the information that is relayed in the infographic. So I think that would be extremely helpful. So if you have a lot of text in an image, this is one way where you can bring that text forward easily, and AI can assist with accessibility. So that's a good way to think about AI and accessibility. AI is not going to do everything for you, at least not to this point, but it can help speed things along, make things more accurate, and reduce workload. And with alt text descriptions, this is a good example of this. Of course, another example is with closed captions. But the point is that AI is going to help you. It's going to speed things up, and it can be used to supplement your efforts. But it's not necessarily to replace anything, but it can make everything more precise, more accurate, and do it much, much faster. So it really does speed along accessibility. So this was taking a look at Google Bard, and I will provide some links in the description.